Welcome to The Red Menace. We're a comedy news podcast bringing you the latest and greatest holiday-themed stories from either a galaxy far, far away or a sort of furry-fueled Fantasia from hell.
Oh dear.
Aside from our country being on fire, the big news of the week is that two films
have been released.
Two equally anticipated films.
Equally anticipated cinematic experiences.
Cinematic marvels. Both of them have been very positively reviewed. Both are just wonderful Christmas presents for us all.
Have you seen either of these?
I did see the new Star Wars.
Okay.
And I've got to say, it fucking sucks ass. I thought it would be like a fun romp and it would be kind of dumb, because I've liked the previous two.
Sure.
And I know a lot of people got mad about the previous one, and I thought they'd probably walk some of that back. But I thought, like, it would at least be a fun movie.
Yeah.
And it was genuinely a Christmas Prince 2 level slog to get through.
Okay. Would you rather be watching a Christmas Prince 2?
Maybe, actually, because it wouldn't be as loud. This movie was so loud all the time.
That's true. And also, you wouldn't be paying to see a Christmas Prince 2 in the cinema. That's
true. I've never wanted to tell John Williams to calm down, but in this one I really did. I was like, the movie's so absurdly fast-paced that every time there's any sort of emotional moment, John Williams is like, we gotta make him feel this shit. And I'm like, John, I need you to chill. This is a lot, John.
Yeah, sure.
But ignoring that movie that I hate... is a movie that I haven't seen, but I already know I love. It's Cats.
Yeah, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that elephant is that the film Cats has now been released and exists in the public sphere now.
So I'm going to assume everyone who listens to this show is at least passingly familiar, but I'm just going to give a brief summation of what has happened. So in the 70s, Andrew Lloyd Webber, a bad man, I assume, he just seems like someone who would be, wrote a musical called Cats. The plot is basically non-existent. It's famously a bad musical. Like, I want to get this across. People who like musicals don't like Cats. It's like, it's main quality.
Sure.
Has lots of singing and dancing, but it's a bad musical. So the director of The King's Speech and Les Miserables, or Les Miserables, as we Australians like to call it.
Sure.
He's made it into a film starring Taylor Swift.
It's always like an interesting choice to star a pop star in a movie which involves acting.
To be fair, I don't think she stars in it. She's just the biggest name involved.
She's just there. Actually, there's a lot of big names. There's a lot of shockingly famous people in that movie.
We got Jimmy Corden, Idris Elba, Rebel Wilson's in it doing her thing.
Now, for a movie that has Jimmy Corbin and Rebel Wilson, apparently it's very not funny, the comedy. There's very little actual comedic elements in the movie for these two supposedly comedy people to be in.
This might be a hot take, but based on their previous output, I don't find that information shocking.
Well, see, the thing is, at least those previous output is an attempt at comedy.
Whereas this is just an attempt at Cats.
This is just an attempt at Cats, which, in my experience, is not necessarily a comedic musical.
No, it's a bad musical.
I don't know what emotions I felt when I saw Cats on stage, but I was 10, so I don't think I was feeling a lot. I was just like, why are these people dressed like that?
Well, I know the emotion that I felt when I saw the trailer for the movie Cats, which was just a kind of like H.P. Lovecraft horror. Like, what is this thing that I'm witnessing in, like, the cats look like people and they look like cats and they're the wrong size.
Now, you say furries, You mentioned that word. You threw that out there. But furries have animal faces. They don't have human faces.
People faces.
They don't have a human face with hair on it. Which
the
is
reason
what
I said
seeing.
furry... That's true. So this is really creating a new fetish because... And I can't stress this enough. It's all so sexual.
It is very sexual.
Tom, the director, is so fucking horny for these cats.
For these human cat people. Mm-hmm.
He wants to fuck all these cats so badly, and
someone did point out though that if he wanted to be more realistic, the cats would either have to have no boobs or 8 boobs. And I'm just going to say, look, you just got to go all out.
I think they need a high boob count in this movie.
Give each of the female cats 8 boobs.
8 boobs. Get that R rating. I want to see a close-up of a cat butthole. Is that so much to ask for? My exposure to real cats means you see a lot of their butthole. So I think this
their tails are constantly sticking up in the air.
Well, because they constantly sort of point their butt to you and then raise their tail just as a demonstration of power. Because, like,
sure, that's how.
It's like if someone shows you their butthole in the street, it has functionally the same effect.
I guess so. Do you want to hear some reviews for cats?
I'd love to.
So a guy called River H. Wells on Twitter has gone right ahead and compiled a bunch of sentences from various reviews. Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Thank you, Wells. You're doing the God's work.
For doing the God's work. So this is from the Boston Globe. My eyes are burning. Oh, God, my eyes. Which, frankly, that was kind of my experience watching the trailer.
Can I just say that for reference, that's the same outlet that Spotlight is about. So they were the people who did the, like, Catholic sex abuse scandal, and to them this is like an equivalent level of horror.
Yes,
they're like,
of course.
I can't abide by this, just what I'm seeing.
Next one we've got Collider. Can you make a movie so bad that the Academy takes back your Best Director Oscar? Asking for Tom Hooper.
Fuck, I hope so.
Hollywood Reporter. This is the worst one.
Yes.
Catastrophic.
No.
That's awful. I'm just going to skip right ahead to LA
Times.
That's
almost as bad as Cats the movie.
Yeah, they're trying to relive the experience that you would have if you watched the movie. LA Times says, Cats is both a horror and an endurance test. Which I frankly feel about quite a lot of movies. The Beat.
That's fair.
Cats is the worst thing to happen to cats since dogs.
Okay, a lot of these... Here's my problem. A lot of these people are going for jokes when I think that the core concept isn't funny enough that you don't need to add on to it.
You just gotta go for, like, the horror experience.
Exactly. That's where the comedy is. Just lean into the astrological terror of it all.
Exactly. Vulture has a good review here. To assess Cats as good or bad feels like the entirely wrong axis on which to see it. It is, with all affection, a monstrosity. Thank you, Vulture, for that review.
Oh, that's very good. It's with all affection, a monstrosity. That's so good, and it explains exactly why I really want to see this movie.
Yeah. The Daily Telegraph says, glad to report that Cats is everything you'd hoped for and more. A mesmerisingly ugly fiasco that makes you feel like your brain has been eaten by a parasite. A viewing experience so stressful that it honestly brought on a migraine.
I love that as a review. This film had a medical consequence on my body.
Absolutely.
That's like if I said the new Star Wars gave me appendicitis. Like it's... Which, although, never say never.
Do you want to hear the last review here? Because this one is very good as well.
Yes, please.
This one is from RTE Island. And it says, first of all, full disclosure, I am not a cat person. Second off, after watching this frankly mortifying film adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats, I'm not altogether sure I am a movie person anymore either.
Can I bring you an article about
just go on, before you read this article, for everyone who wants some like comedy content, just go on Rotten Tomatoes and read all like the reviews from top reviewers on this, because there are a lot of good stuff.
Do you remember a few years back how Kanye West put out his album, The Life of Pablo, and then about a month later he said he was going to update The Life of Pablo because he hadn't actually finished it when he released it. That was just like the beta of The Life of Pablo.
I don't remember this because I'm not really following Kanye West's career, but it really tracks as something he would do, so yeah sure.
So this is an article from Stereo Gum. Cats is being updated with improved visual effects.
Is it?
How many lives does Cats have? On Friday, the movie's opening day, Universal notified thousands of theatres that they will be receiving an updated version of Tom Hooper's troubled film with some improved visual effects, according to a copy of the memo obtained by The Hollywood Reporter. The move is unheard of for a finished title already in release, according to cinema operators.
Well, yeah, it's not shocking to me that that's not a common thing.
Insiders say it is being done at Hooper's request. Which to me, I think means that Hooper released this film and he was watching it and he was just like, I can't finish like this, either literally or sexually. And so he needed to
He needed 8 boobs. He needed 8 boobs.
So maybe this is they've edited 7 more boobs in.
Yeah, that's the improved visual effect, is that all the cats now have 8 boobs.
8 boobs.
He's heard the feedback that cats should have no boobs or 8 boobs, and no boobs simply wasn't on the table.
Lucasfilm, Industrial Light and Magic, has been working around the clock. That's why the effects on the Star Wars weren't very good, because they've put all their time into giving the cats boobs in time for release. And they didn't quite make it, but be damned if they're not going to release it anyway.
Oh, it's like, the whole Sonic movie debacle, where people saw the trailer and were like, this is a monstrosity. And then they remade the movie, probably with very poor working conditions for everyone involved in the remaking of the animation. I want to know what kind of, devilish exploitation is going on behind the scenes to update a movie after it's been released.
Yeah, I was like, you say that, but that movie hasn't come out already.
Yeah.
This movie is done.
Exactly. So if there's already that level of, exploitativeness, what can we expect from a movie that's already been released?
This is the 1.1 patch of Cats. It comes with the season pass for Cats. That lets you,
Christ.
They've changed the time to kill on Cats a little bit, just so that it's more palatable for audiences. The audacity of doing this, of Cats of all things, is so insane to me.
I don't understand why they didn't just give them cat faces. That would have made things at least a little bit better, you know?
You know, whenever there's a Christopher Nolan movie comes out, they're like, what's the right cinema to watch Dunkirk at? Because you need that, high 70mm IMAX shit, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
You need the special projector for special boys.
Sure.
Do you think that there's now going to be message boards about people want to see the old version of Cats?
I want to see the original Cats.
I want to go to a theater that doesn't have version 1.1 of Cats. I want to see the 1.0.
I want to see the 2-boob cats. I don't want to see the 8-boob cats.
The 8-boob cats don't do it for me sexually. Only the 2-boob cats do. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. Oh, dear. Something surely somewhere along the line, someone who was making that movie said, this is extremely ugly.
Surely it was before they spent $100 million on it.
Well, you'd think so. You'd think so.
Just how... I'm glad it exists. I honestly am.
Right.
Because it's not another Star Wars or another Avenger. No. It's an expensive movie that's some fucking pervert's fever dream. But
see, the thing with it is they've taken a source material which wasn't necessarily super popular, but was known for being really weird and not really having a plot, and making it even more weird and even less plot, and just throwing in a bunch of famous people who may not have any right to be in a non-serious...
What is your right to be in this Cats movie? How dare you?
You know, okay, there's not much comedy in it, and yet you've gone out of your way to cast 2 people who think they're very funny in a movie that is not very comedic. Do you think that the 1.1 version of Cats is updating to make Jason Derulo's dick bigger as per his request? Oh, God.
Because he was
forgot Jason Derulo is in it, too.
He's very upset about the size of his cat bulge.
Does Jason Derulo, every time he walks on screen, does he go, Jason Derulo?
I deeply hope so.
Because that's how I know a Jason Derulo song is on. So I hope he does that on the screen.
I've heard that Jason Derulo and his small cat bulge is the best part of the film.
Sure.
So, like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
But that's not saying a lot.
There's not a lot to go by there.
Do you have a story for me, Alison?
I do have a story. I'm going to bring a toilet story. We have been talking about a toilet movie, but...
That's true.
No, this is probably one that you've read. It's kind of a sign of the times. It's a story about capitalism, a story about poops, and a story about us all apparently spending too long on the toilet because...
Oh, this one.
Yeah. What do you know about this one, Chris?
So this is the one about the toilets that you slide off of.
Yeah.
Because we're not working hard enough and we spend too much dang time shitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much time.
We're all popping off to the toilet for far too long.
Popping off so we can pop off, and it's not... Apparently it's not good for our lords and masters for us to spend all our time doing this.
No.
What they don't know is how fucking jacked my calves are going to get from holding myself up on this toilet for an extended amount of time.
I mean, every day is going to be leg day if they implement this toilet in workplaces. It says here, this uncomfortable toilet is here to stop you sitting on the loo too long at work. And I'm reading from 10 Daily, although this is literally in every single news, so choose to read it where you would like to read it. Leave your phone at your desk. Officers are phasing out extended bathroom breaks with intentionally uncomfortable toilet seats. A UK startup company has developed a toilet with a sloped seat in order to create a far more unpleasant bathroom experience. Using this toilet will require you to squat more than just sit. The seat slopes down at approximately 13 degrees, placing more pressure and strain on the legs and knees the longer you're there. It's called the standard toilet, and it's pinned to be the future of bathroom design.
Whoever is responsible for this, and I would like to find out their name, is...
Yeah.
Just like...
Well, it's been backed by the British Toilet Association, Chris. So I feel like the entire British Toilet Association...
Why does that exist?
Of course it exists.
The British Toilet... Can you imagine putting that on your resume? I'm the
CEO of British Toilet Association. I'm the executive assistant at the British Toilet Association.
Can you imagine seeing a job advertisement for that? It's like, we're looking for a part-time... we do want 2 years of toilet experience for you
2 years experience in a similar role.
A similar toilet role.
Exactly.
Preferably working for a toilet or poop-related company.
It's like we've gone too far. We've made toilets too comfortable, and people do like to sit on them for extended amounts of time instead of working. Or, in the case of when you're working in retail or customer service, that's literally the only time you can sit down is when you're on the toilet. So, let's make it even worse for them.
I don't think this slanted toilet goes far enough. If you're going to do this, why don't you just make it give you, electric shocks every 30 seconds?
God.
Why don't you just put, a big knife in one side of the toilet? Then you can't sit on it at all.
No, exactly.
Why don't
we could just do squat toilets, but no,
why
let's
don't
not
we
do that.
just make our employees all wear nappies? I think that's a great idea.
It's the next step in capitalist hell, is every employee walking around in adult diapers. So they don't need to go on a break with a tube dripping food into their bodies, so they don't need to have a lunch break either.
Oh my God. God. Well, look, you'd get enough exercise because you'd never be able to sit down, so that's something.
Yeah. The intention of the awkward toilet is to encourage workers to spend as little time as possible on the toilet and more time at their desks. It's a capitalist...
#productive life.
Why don't they just install toilets where the chairs are for the desks in a hot desking kind of situation? so that you're always sitting on the toilet.
I like this
and always
idea.
at your desk at the same time.
And I think what it needs to have is it needs to be suctioned to your body so that no smell can escape.
Exactly.
And there needs to be loud music playing constantly so no sound can escape. So you can have a full-blown conversation with someone whilst doing the deed.
Just the entire office is one big unisex toilet.
Just constantly shitting the whole time.
Exactly. Jesus Christ. It's capitalism at its most glaringly obvious, and it's been backed by the British Toilet Association. According to its developer, the product was inspired by the statistic that extended employee breaks cost industry and commerce an estimated £4 billion,
That's
or
bullshit.
7.6 billion Australian dollars every year.
It was brought to, I'm going to assume it's a white dude named Jeremy. It was brought to Jeremy in a dream by Satan, because Jeremy is a genuinely evil person for having invented
the
this.
name of this character doesn't sound very white.
Oh, damn.
He could be. There's no picture of him. There's only a picture of his monstrosity creation.
It's just... Do you think this is how people felt when they built the Death Star in the Star Wars? They were just like, this exists only to cause suffering. That exists to blow up planets. But this exists to blow up happiness. And I think that's just as bad.
Look, as someone who worked in retail and customer service for a long time, and I'm putting that out there because, to be honest, those are the jobs where they're probably talking about lost productivity more than in a bloody office, because as far as I'm aware, most of the time in the offices, people are just playing solitaire. That tends to be the most killer of productivity.
They took solitaire off our office computers. It was they got a
Did
special,
they really?
special custom-made version of Windows. Doesn't have solitaire. Doesn't have Minesweeper.
Well, that's why they did it. That's.
But little do they know, I'm just opening up MS Paint and I'm just drawing pictures of toilets all day.
It's like when you have the computers at school, and the computers at school don't have anything fun on the internet, so you make up games for Wikipedia instead. You know, there's no games you can access, so you make up a game on Wikipedia that involves the winner is the person, you have to click random article, and you have to pick an article that you both get to through clicking only the links, and the winner is the person who had to click through less pages to get to the decided page.
The school that I went to was one of those ones where everybody has to have a laptop, and within a week of that initiative... Every single one of those laptops had installed on it Peggle, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and Halo.
One of those is the odd one out.
And that one is Peggle, the greatest video game ever made.
It is an excellent game, Peggle. In fact, that whole suite of games is excellent. Zuma is a great game too.
Back in the day, I bought a Microsoft Xbox One console, and a lot of people were like, Chris, why have you bought this? There's nothing good on it. And I was like, Peggle 2 is available exclusively on this platform, so I will be buying this one. Thank you very much.
Jesus Christ. Do you want to know the health reasons behind this toilet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like something out of 1984. It does promote a range of health benefits. A number of medical issues occur as a result of sitting on the toilet for prolonged periods of time. The most common among them is hemorrhoids. According to Live Science, sitting on the toilet for too long relaxes the anus, allowing the surrounding veins to fill with blood and risks causing enlarged hemorrhoids.
Can I say that them saying that people having relaxed buttholes is bad is homophobic, and I don't approve of it?
Standard Toilet have also stated that with their design they intend to reduce musculoskeletal disorder and minimise queuing times for bathrooms. Despite its many conveniences, critics have expressed concern that this unrelenting quest for productivity is harmful to employees who are already overworked and undersupported.
Oh, we
they
don't
can
need to worry
take our
about
loo
that.
breaks, but they will never take our freedom.
That's funny, because it sounds like they have done that. It's taken the freedom away.
It sounds like they've taken the freedom away long before they took away the loo breaks. Let me throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Well, we're all going to die.
We sure are.
Can I bring you a... So this is not a story.
Okay.
This is...
Right, good way to start.
This is a review of... This is a review of Liam Payne, former member of One Direction, his debut album, LP1, which right off the bat, what a fucking funny name.
That is a great name.
Because it's LP, but also it stands for his name.
Oh my god. How many, like, they were obviously sitting around a table throwing out ideas for album names. Or did Liam come up with that one himself?
I think he came up with that very punny album name on his own.
Sure.
So this is written by Rawia Kamir. This is in the pop/R&B category.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell you the score this album's received. I might save that to the end, but I think it will become apparent.
Oh, I might have a little guess.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
The former One Direction member's solo debut is just another pop star flailing to find his identity amid trend-hopping production and half-baked lyrics. That's the brief at the top.
Sure.
One Direction was famously assembled because Simon Cowell and his fellow X Factor judges didn't have much faith in the boys' potential as solo artists. If Liam Payne's debut, released more than a decade after the band's televised genesis, is any indication, Cowell was right.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, some of them are having pretty successful solo careers. Some of them being Harry Styles.
Harry Styles' new album just came out. It's hot shit. It's very good. And
people very like Harry Styles.
He has a whole song about how much he likes going down on women in which he sings about fruit. And I think that's a very good thing to exist because he's a beautiful man.
Sure.
If Liam Payne's debut... wait, no, that's the bit I just read. Payne is, at best, competent. His voice is pleasant, but not especially charismatic. His choices are safe, but uninspired. A couple years after launching his career, his musical identity remains wholly unremarkable.
No. Poor Liam!
They're really shitting on Liam here.
Oh, dear.
Cowell has since criticised Payne in the press for signing with Capitol and not his own pop pipeline label.
Well, I like Liam for that. Thank you very much, Liam, for not signing with Simon Cowell. Although you could have signed with Simon Cowell and then released a trash album, and that would have been on his name.
LP1's 17 songs, which is a considerable number.
That's quite a few songs.
Including a 2018 Rita Ora collab from the 50 Shades Freed soundtrack. I gotta say, I saw that flick, and it was pretty fucking grim.
You saw that film.
Saw that flick in cinemas, baby.
I will say one thing. The main actress who stars in that, if you watch reviews with her, interviews with her, she seems like a very cool lady. And she seems very, very much I was doing, not Twilight, very much like I was doing 50 Shades of Grey for the money, and I'm like, I can respect that.
Oh yeah, Dakota Johnson seems like a lovely young woman.
She seems like a lovely lady. Who did a movie to get some money and then really doesn't like the movie. But she got the money, so that's...
Well, I'm glad she and I are on the same page, because I also really don't like the movie.
I don't think she likes it at all either. There was this press tour interview where she and her co-star were there, and someone's like, the interviewer's like, oh, you guys have got so much chemistry on screen, and they just kind of give each other a side glance and roll their eyes.
And they were like, we will not speak after this process is finished.
This is intensely awkward for us to even be on the same couch after we've had to go through what we've gone through.
Including a 2018 Rita Ora collab from the 50 Shades Freed soundtrack and a Christmas number tacked on at the end, have ambience and trend scraping of a Zara fitting room.
Oh dear.
The journey from boy band to solo act has broken many aspiring pop stars. But what it requires, gesturing at a distinct, compelling identity, is Payne's biggest question mark. Despite being a UK tabloid fixture, he's been unable to convey a discernible personality, or any personality at all.
No. Oh dear.
Even with a built-in global audience of millions, it's unclear who this collection of middling songs could possibly resonate with. Former Directioners clamouring for a solo Liam album? new fans seeking nondescript paint-by-numbers pop, and yet improbably, Payne has been among the band's most successful solo members, metrics-wise.
Has he really?
Yeah, he's made a lot of cash.
Oh dear.
Strip That Down, a 2017 love song premised on his freedom from One Direction and featuring a bloodless verse from Quavo, has amassed billions of plays. Other singles, like Familiar with J Balvin and Get Low with Zedd, despite being completely unmemorable, have proved adequate enough to satisfy the low bar of a generic pop playlist.
Adequate enough.
Throwing spaghetti at a Spotify algorithm and seeing what sticks appears to be Payne's main strategy with the rest of LP1.
I mean, fair enough.
The single Stack It Up, featuring a boogie with Dahoody, I've never sounded more white than I have saying that, further betrays his ambition of an Ed Sheeran-style metabolism of the current pop sounds.
Now, as far as I'm aware, Liam Payne is white, correct?
This is accurate.
Okay. Just making sure I'm picturing...
Yeah,
okay.
Just imagine a 20-something white dude, and it looks like that.
Okay, sure.
He has light stubble, short brown hair, kind of looks like a fuckboy, you know?
Now, I always don't know the difference, because I can picture Niall, I can picture Harry, I can picture Zayn, but I can't picture the other two guys,
well,
the
that's
L and
because
L.
Zayn and Harry are both extremely attractive people, and Niall he just looks like a little...
He's the Irish one, the little Irish chap.
That's a good description, he's the Irish one.
Oh, okay, I found Louis. Louis is that one. Right. So Liam must be the other one.
Liam Payne, the other one.
Liam Payne is the one who had the... Oh, yeah, okay, that's Liam. Right, I see.
In recent press, Payne has hinted at the complexity of his life post One Direction, including fatherhood, brushes with substance abuse, and frustration with accepting his role as the band's most boring member.
Fair enough.
But he draws little inspiration from that wealth of real-life experience. Instead, he relies on inane songwriting concepts, rote misogyny, and feelingless flexing.
Jesus Christ.
The lyrics are puerile and half-baked. It is hardly worth laying them all out on the page. The worst offender must be from The Nerve, Hips Don't Lie. He's named his song Hips Don't Lie.
Is it like Shakira?
Like that, except bad.
It was Shakira the original Hips Don't Lie?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that's how I'm imagining Liam singing Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. And I do like what I'm imagining there. Because I think that would work quite well.
And then you need to get the actual Shakira bit back to say the Shakira bit.
Exactly.
Then she gets to say that bit.
She
and
does
it comes
a cameo,
full circle.
Just
saying the bit of the song that she didn't get to say last time.
What was that? What is with that trend in music where music artists is this like a watermark that music artists put on their own music where they say their name?
Well,
because we did mention Jason Derulo earlier. He does that. Shakira does that.
Well, to be
I'd
fair,
like to see
Shakira
some really
doesn't...
serious bands do that. I'd like to see Adele singing Adele.
This is an Adele joint.
Before she opens all her songs.
I think the next Taylor Swift album needs to open with her saying really quickly, "Hi, my name is Taylor," and then just have the song happen afterwards.
Yeah. We need to bring that back for every single band.
Ed Sheeran can just go, Ed.
Ed.
Harry Styles can say, "I'm the hot one."
I'm pretty sure, like, in One Direction, Liam was supposed to be, like, the dreamy boy, and Harry was supposed to be, like, the bad boy. That was the roles they were given, was it not?
I buy that Harry Styles is the bad boy, because that dude fucks. Like, you can just see...
Sure.
You can tell. Liam...
But I'm pretty sure everyone just thought he was dreamy anyway, and then Liam had nothing, because he's not dreamy.
I think Liam talks about it a lot. But I don't think Liam's ever had sex. I think
Liam's a dad, is he not, though?
Well, I know, but I mean, his child is Jesus to a virgin birth.
Sure. I think if Liam wants to become an identity, he should just start making Wiggles-type songs. Become, like, the next
Yes.
Solo wiggle. And then that's a market to tap into because kids listen to anything.
Here are the lyrics from Hips Don't Lie.
Okay. Shakira, Shakira, that's the first lyric, and go on from there.
Don't be giving me the eye, unless you got what I need. I hope your hips don't lie, unless they're lying with me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One song, both ways, takes the trope of hetero-objectification of bisexual women to gross new lows. No, I don't discriminate. Bring it back to my place. Yeah, she likes it both ways. In addition to being offensive, it's not even convincing as an expression of desire.
No.
If you can't even effectively use a pop song to communicate horniness, the most basic of human emotions, then what do you have? Listening to LP1, you almost feel sorry for Payne.
I feel sorry for him after reading this review.
It's maybe more pathetic to have failed not for risking too much, but after having seeming to tried so little.
Oh, God.
This is the harshest thing I've ever read, and I love it.
I feel mean listening to this. Liam, go enjoy being a dad with your kid and just, like, dwell on that One Direction money for a while.
Put on some Shakira, don't cover it.
I don't know. Go do something else. Go become a wiggle. You'll like that, I think.
Do you have a story for me, Alison?
Hey, Chris, I do have a story that poses a question.
Oh, God.
This is from Popular Mechanics.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, what do aliens smell like?
Feed it to me. Space is the obvious answer, and I don't know what space smells like.
Eric Spitznagel for Popular Mechanics. The headline in the actual article that I clicked through said, "What do aliens smell like?" And then the headline here has given me the answer. It says, "Aliens smell like farts."
Yes. Well, that's the title. I've been struggling to find the titles recently, but aliens smell like farts is a no-brainer.
Oh, this is from exactly 1 month ago.
I don't know how I'm going to visualize that.
Well, this one has visualized it using a stock image from Getty Images of a guy in an alien morph suit, just putting his thumb and index finger and pointer finger under his chin like he's thinking.
Oh no, I'm definitely going to find a royalty-free image of an alien and then I'm going to draw on a brown fart cloud coming out of it.
Jesus Christ. I hope you find an image of a guy in a morph suit as an alien, because that's frankly...
I will do my best. If it has a watermark on it, I'm leaving it there.
Yeah. So anyway, let's jump right into this important investigation, shall we? Sometimes it takes a child to point out the important questions. My 8-year-old is a burgeoning amateur scientist, so he keeps up with the latest science news a little more closely than I do. He learnt recently that Curiosity, NASA's roving Martian science lab, has been detecting some rather interesting organic and chemical molecules on the red planet, some of which could be clues of life. So far, it's discovered dimethyl sulfide, methanethiol, most surprisingly, trace amounts of oxygen. It's a lot of compounds on Mars.
Okay.
Along with the compounds we already know about, like nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide, Mars has the same chemical composition of flatulence.
It's fart.
It's fart. It is indeed. Which led my son to one inescapable conclusion. If aliens exist, they probably smell like farts.
This kid's a fucking genius. This kid's the next president.
This kid is going places. He's,
Just give this kid NASA. Just give it to him.
Yeah, just pass it over to him. Elon, step aside from SpaceX and just hand the reins over to this kid. He's making... Yeah. he's going to be making some kinds of, discoveries.
I love the idea of an 8-year-old getting to name all of the spaceships, because it would be like the first one would be named Boob, but written 8008, like on a graphing calculator.
There'd be like a Yamam. And it would be the really, really large ship. The biggest ship they have will be called Yamam.
The one of them would just be a dance emote from Fortnite. It wouldn't even have a name. The emote would be the name.
Yes. Now, this is what the writer goes on to say. He says, I don't know enough about farts, Mars, or aliens to refute him, so I reached out to someone who does. Clara Sousa Silva, a molecular astrophysics postdoctoral associate at MIT.
For fuck's sake.
Your son is probably correct in his inference, she told me. Most of my work in astrobiology looks at anaerobic environments, which have a lot in common with environments that produce farts. So yes.
This article has more instances of the word fart than I think I've genuinely heard in a long time. Like,
yeah, look.
I'm realizing...
As a grown adult,
you don't hear the word fart
a
very
lot
often.
You may see a lot of... Well, not see a lot of farts. You may experience farts. But you don't... they're generally unspoken.
As a society,
by the
we
time
all
you hit
have
20.
collectively agreed not to mention it.
Yeah, exactly.
But this journalist, with again, the audacity of this journalist has broken this sacred oath.
Mr. Spitznagel has very much broken this oath. And he is talking to scientists about farts, which is something... Yeah. And so the scientist continues. She says... So, yes, aliens are reasonably likely to smell like farts. It's a question that almost never gets mentioned when discussing the possibility of extraterrestrials. There's plenty of debate about what aliens might look like, whether they're intelligent or have cool spaceships or are intent on destroying us, but nobody asks, what do aliens actually smell like? This is the real important questions here.
I think most other sorts of publications should get in on this concept. I think we maybe need to have an alien day where each publication writes a themed article about aliens. So I want an alien sports article, like how does alien basketball work? I want an alien car review, like this spaceship has 3 drink holders. I want a Cosmo article about how aliens fuck. There's a lot of potential options here that are not being explored.
Sure, exactly. There's a lot of different things that we all want to know. We all want to know, what do aliens enjoy watching on television?
Exactly. What do the aliens think of Breaking Bad? What do the aliens think of the new Star Trek? There's a lot of good... Do they
like Star Wars?
Do they think that Star Wars is actually appropriative of their culture?
Well, maybe. Do they think that Star Wars is a documentary about history that people just don't know about yet?
Star Wars is alien blackface. There, I said it.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to continue on a little bit more. It goes on and it says, we don't need to see... there's a good line here and then I'll skip forward. It says, at least according to Sousa Silva, the answer to that question is not especially pleasant. Even if Martians denied it, they most definitely supplied it.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess he had to. He didn't have a choice there.
No, he didn't. There's a lot of... It's going on now to talk about more smelly space experiences, because Mars isn't the only place that smells like farts, according to science. Now, skipping forward a little bit, we are looking at Titan. Titan is a moon. Mm-hmm. It said a few years back, some of the gases and hydrocarbons collected by Cassini were used to create a recipe that replicated the aromatic flavours of Titan.
Smell like fart.
Composed of mostly nitrogen, methane and benzene, and a few other aromatics, NASA researchers were able to create, in the lab, what could be dubbed Eau de Titan, the cologne of choice for Titan aliens, should they exist. What they discovered, Titan smells like farts and gasoline.
Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine in 50 years when we're out exploring the solar system and we've got you're doing a routine job, you're flying over Saturn, I think, is the one Titan's on.
Yeah.
And your spaceship starts to crash, and you're like, oh no, this is the end. And the last thing you smell before the lights go out is Titan fart.
Oh, what's that? And it's in fact Titan fart.
The fart of the Titan. That's also a good potential title, though. Damn it.
Jesus Christ. Look, there's a lot more to this article talking about different planets' smells, but I think the answer that we're looking for was the question, what do aliens smell like? And that answer has been provided to us.
It's definitely fart.
Which is fart. So I would like to hear whatever story you have.
So this is one that was sent to me by our intern Marianne.
Thank you, Marianne.
So this is from 7 News. This is written by Elizabeth Dowd. Las Vegas pigeons become social media sensation after being seen wearing cowboy hats. Is it a bird? Is it a cowboy? Las Vegas residents have been left confused and concerned after spotting pigeons wearing miniature cowboy hats.
I want to see it.
Nobody knows how they got there or who did it. But a local bird rescue group is worried that these hats could be glued onto these animals, sparking animal cruelty concerns.
Oh dear.
Mariah Hillman, co-founder of Lofty Hopes, a pigeon rescue group, told CNN that the hats were definitely a concern. When we saw them today, you could see that some loose feathers were in the glue around the hat. 2 particular birds have been spotted in the area, one with a red hat, dubbed Chuck Norris, and one with a pink... dubbed Cluck Norris, and one with a pink hat named Cool Amity Jane.
Jesus Christ. I think the real case of animal cruelty here is the names that this Lofty Heights has chosen to put on these pigeons.
There are rumours of a third bird in a brown hat, but the sighting is yet to be confirmed. The rescue groups have put out traps in an attempt to capture the birds. Nevertheless, the pigeons have become a hit on social media.
I'm sure they have.
And this Twitter user, Samantha11, says, whoever is putting these little cowboy hats on the pigeons in Las Vegas is my soulmate, and I really just need to get that out in the open now. Las Vegas locally says, someone is putting tiny cowboy hats on Vegas pigeons. There are consequences to legalizing marijuana.
I mean, true.
I like the idea that these pigeons would see the traps and then they would, all sort of gather up on a ridge and look down at them and just sort of, look to one another and be like, well, Cluck, I guess this is it. Damned authorities have come to get us. We ain't going to be able to...
Exactly.
We're going back in the slammer, the pigeon slammer.
This is an explanation they didn't consider, which I would like to lay down. That, in fact, the hats are not glued on, that pigeons have become sentient, and they are choosing to wear these hats for fashion. I
like this idea very much.
Yeah, I like to think that this is what happened in this case.
If you hear a pigeon caw-cawing and it sounds like a southern accent, if it's like caw-caw, then you know... then you know this pigeon needs a cowboy hat.
And you should go up to him and ask, hey man, would you like a cowboy hat?
And he'll just look at you and be like, caw.
And you'll be like, okay mate, I'm going to get you a cowboy hat. Also, follow-up point, what manufacturer is making pigeon-sized cowboy hats? Because I too would like to buy some for my own project.
Just an unrelated project that we're not going to go into in any depth.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to see an animated film in which Matthew McConaughey plays a pigeon.
A cowboy pigeon.
A cowboy pigeon. Actually, let's pitch this. It's going to be essentially the movie Unforgiven. It's going to be like a hardcore Western. We're basically
just talking about Rango here now, though.
Okay, but we're never going to address the animals aspect of it.
No, sure.
And it's going to...
Yeah. But I'd like to imagine that we do have human actors starring alongside the pigeons, and it's just they're treated as equals in this film.
Is the pigeon human-sized or pigeon-sized?
No, the pigeon is pigeon-sized, and it does ride a horse as well.
It's voiced by Matthew McConaughey. It carries a gun that it has to shoot with its feet, so whenever it shoots its gun, it has to fly while doing it. But it is a human-sized gun and a human-sized horse.
Oh, well, exactly. But there is a pigeon-sized hat in this
The
universe.
horse is also voiced by Matthew McConaughey.
And the horse doesn't speak. It's not like a Mr. Ed situation.
But
the horse is like, it is voiced by Matthew McConaughey, but it's Matthew McConaughey going,
Nay.
Nay. Nay.
All right, nay.
Nay. All right. Nay, nay, nay. What the fuck is wrong with us?
Let's finish, I think. Oh my god. Thank you everybody for listening. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menace Cast, or on Facebook at the Red Menace Podcast. You can buy our merch on tpublic.com. Just an FYI, there won't be an episode up next week because I'm going home for Christmas and the internet at my family's place is virtually non-existent.
Lol.
So, sorry, basically. And then you're like, oh, Chris, why don't you just make a best of episode? And then I say, because I literally could not upload it. It wouldn't work. It would take a day to upload that, like, 40 megabyte file.
I get that. See, now here's the thing, right? Now I've moved to a different country. When I send you the file that I record my audio on, it sends very quickly now.
Yeah, it used to be I'd go away, make a cup of tea, have a shower, and I'd come back and you might have started to send it. Whereas now, like, it'll arrive 30 seconds after we finish.
Yeah, it's very good speeds. And I am not looking forward to going back to Australian speeds.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's not going to be ideal. That's all right. That's okay. So have a good holiday time, I suppose.
Yeah. Thank you.
Enjoy being with your family. I hope that there's no fire in your vicinity.
I hope so too. Thank you all, and all of our listeners, so many of them. I hope you have a good holiday time too.
Enjoy your holiday time.
Spend time with your family unless your family sucks. Drink wine unless you don't like wine. And just generally have a good time.
If you're looking for content next week to listen to, just go back and listen to every single episode again.
Yeah, just listen to the hits. Maybe tweet at us what our best bits are, because if I ever do want to make a best of episode, I am not qualified to choose the bits.
And tweet at us what you think aliens smell like.
Yeah.
That's another thing you can tweet at us.
Tweet at us what kind of farts do you think aliens smell like.
Jesus Christ. Oh God. Okay. Enough. We're done.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Good luck and good night.
Bye.